Are you looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this football and basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projections for a wide variety of stats, and place your entry. It's as easy as that. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Easy gameplay, quick withdrawals, and injury insurance on your picks are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Ready to test your skills? Join the Prize Picks community of more than 7 million players who have already signed up. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/bluewire and use code BLUEWIRE. That's code BLUEWIRE at prizepicks.com/bluewire for a first deposit match of up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
Support for this podcast comes from Frito-Lay and the 2023 Snack Bracket Championship. The Frito-Lay Snack-It Challenge is underway, and fans are voting on their favorite snacks to crown champion. We're talking about prime-time matchups between the best 64 snacks in the land. Will Ruffles Ridges reign supreme? Can Doritos defend their dynasty? Or will Smart Food use their smarts for a surprise upset? Only you can decide. Get in on all the action for a chance to win up to $1,000 or a year's worth of snacks. Let your snacks be heard. Just go to fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com to vote and enter for a chance to win. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends April 3rd, 2023. Void where prohibited. Year's worth of snacks awarded in the form of 52 coupons, each good for 1 bag of chips. See official rules at fritolaysnacket.sbnation.com.
Welcome to the Suck. This is Kirk Henderson, editor-in-chief of Mavs Moneyball. Welcome to Group Therapy. Henry, you said you're only here for a spicy Kirk rant. I gotta say, I don't got it in me. You know, my man Dwight on Twitter had just an absolutely incredible bit of stats that I'm going to be thinking about for quite some time about how the Mavericks have now when they lost to this year, they've lost to the Rockets, they lost to the Magic. All these really horrific losses that they've suffered have come at the time when that particular team was the worst team in the league, record-wise. So, just gotta say, it's not fun. Those of you who are listening later, we're recording. It's about 9:40 on Thursday, September 1st. The Dallas Mavericks just fell to the Detroit Pistons in overtime. It was one of the more pathetic showings I could ever have imagined. I don't even really know what the problem was. It's just really uninspiring basketball. The roster stinks, or rather, the roster is not playing well. The defense is not there at all. The kind of connective chain that we saw developing in January, February, and then that stuck for a while after Porzingis left. There's just nothing there. Anyway, let's start bringing folks up on stage. You guys know the drill. We'll get our thoughts out, and then we will see what's up. All right, coming up first, let's go with Charles, because Charles might have a brighter side take. What's up, Charles?
Kirk, this reminds me of when I was like in 6th grade football. There was this coach named Buckmaster. That's what his name was, and this is what he would always say, and it was ridiculous. My brother would love to. My brother was more of a football player than me because I quit by the time I was in the 7th grade getting my bell rung. I said, I'm just off to play cello. You guys can do this some more. But Buckmaster would say, you got to want it. You got to want it. It's just like, this is down in deep swamp, Beaumont, Texas. And it's just like, I mean, that's where the towels stink in the locker room. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like, I'm just sitting there like, what was it? We were down by 10 or 12, and I just stopped watching. I was just like, this is just going to go wrong. It doesn't really matter if we make it interesting later. I need a break from this. It's just torture. You have to be a sadist to want to endure this, you know?
Luckily for everyone, I am a sadist, and we'll continue watching this fucking dreck that we're watching. You know, we have like a generational talent, and it's just... My favorite is the people, and like there's a fair amount of them who are like, well, this team just isn't that different than last year. I don't understand. And it's like, the answer is within what you just fucking said. The team is not that different, and the guys are playing a little bit worse. In some cases, a lot worse. I mean, I think they'll figure it out to a degree, but it's just like, this is what they are.
I mean, now it makes complete sense to me why I keep hearing from you and other people like, why don't you just play somebody else? Just anybody who gives a shit.
Well, just see Josh, like I'm not a Josh Green defender. I'm delighted at his improvement, but he played 15 minutes tonight. Like, what? Why? There's no reason for him to play 15 minutes. Do anything. Give him in the short role, like Maxey. 30, right? It's so painful, man.
No, I mean, I was like, if they're obviously not going to just put Kemba Walker out there right away. They're like asking, when do you think he'll play? And it's like, well, if you're not going to play him, at least bring up McKinley. I mean, if we need some ball handling and he's not going to be joining the team, at least just for even 5 or 10 minutes, put McKinley out there, pull him out of, if you're going to bring Jaden Hardy, from the G League, it wouldn't hurt like right now while we're 1-5 or 6 to bring, that guy actually played some defense. Remember in the summer league, he was. Yeah. I mean, anything. Anyway, I'm just spouting off about nothing.
No,
you probably should find somebody who's going to say something that actually has to do.
That's what this is for. Therapy is about venting. All right, buddy. Thanks for coming up. All right, let's go to. Now let's fly through this, guys. None of us want to be here for forever. I don't think. Brian, how you doing, buddy? I like how I bring, Brian up here, who is a regular user, and he always mutes himself.
Just force a habit. Gee, 48% from the fucking free throw line, Kirk. How in God's name does that happen? In an NBA game. This is not a small child YMCA game. This is a professional basketball game. 48%. Like,
that's really hard to do.
That is impressive, but it still boils my piss. Like, and I told myself the other day, I was like, okay, I'm going to set myself up for expectations. I'm going to be pretty mad about the Pistons' loss, and I'm not going to get mad. But somehow, it made me mad again. Every fucking time, I must be a sadist too, because somehow this team still manages to get me pissed off every time, like, from these stupid losses. I don't understand it. Like, I'm if you don't mind, I'm going to put myself over here. In the pregame, preview on MavsMoneyball.com, irrelevant now, but I said 2 things. Do not let Bojan Bogdanovic go crazy and protect the glass. Mavericks let both of those things happen and shot 48%. Like, how does this happen? Like, they're actively trying to lose a game. They don't have one of their best players. Again, a recurrence that happens with this dumb team every time. Like, They don't have their star player. They're actively trying to lose games. Like, and you still let them win.
And I wasn't the first person to make this joke, but like, this felt like quiet tanking.
Like, and the thing is with the way, I mean, obviously, thank God, Reggie had the 4-point play and they had that crazy run in the fourth. The thing that's like worrisome, Kirk, I think we've kind of talked about it within articles. You've spoke to individuals in here. We've talked about it in the group Slack. Like, eventually, like, the medium of like all these players shooting crappy has to suck, but it's like the energy vampire touched Spencer, and now Tim is actually playing good, but everybody else sucks now.
Spencer's been playing, like, it's hard to quantify this. Like, I'm not a stats guy. My buddy Seth Partner just requested a chat, and I might ask him to throw this out there. But, like, it's hard to quantify for me. Like, and I don't want to, like, shit on anybody's parade, but like, Spencer was playing out of his mind. He was shooting so well. Like, that was bound to happen where he was going to have, like, a turd game.
Right, but he's been playing, well, obviously he got ejected awkwardly, but just to 2 points. 2 points the entire game against a stinko Pistons game. Like that's not acceptable. Like, what are you doing? Go to the basket. It's not like they have like these entourage of long wing defenders. Yeah, they had obviously their front court players, Stewart and Durant played great, which I said, hey, keep those guys off the glass. And of course, the Mavericks didn't do it. There was a couple plays where Durant just got in there and just was pushing everybody around like a small child because I think he had about 10 or 15 pounds on Maxey and Powell. So, and then Dwight Powell getting in foul trouble. I don't know if that like screwed up the momentum, but that surely didn't hurt. Thank God McGee didn't get minutes tonight. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to this game on Saturday, Kirk. I kind of fear the Mavericks are going to get boat raced because Luka might just go out partying on Friday. But I'll hop down, buddy. But I appreciate you doing this every day. Take care.
Sure thing, dude. All right, coming up next, friend of the program. You can listen to him on Call-In, Seth Partnow. How you doing, buddy? You know what? You can also hear him on The Athletic. What's wrong with me?
Hi, Kirk. How are you?
You know, I'm taking a vacation day tomorrow, so I'm going to be all right.
Well, just from this?
Well, I mean, I already planned it.
Okay,
now, I just need it. So
you're taking the day off to get in the right head space for Uruguay, Ghana.
The Mavericks play the Knicks at 11:30 Central Time on Saturday morning, and that game, has the potential. It's like what my man Brian just said. Like if the Mavericks lose that game, we're at DEFCON 1.
Yeah. I don't know. You said you wanted me to drop by, so I did. The previous guy was talking about how Stewart and Duren especially, and we're kind of pushing the Mavs around. And this has been, I think, the problem that I think you and I have talked about offline and probably online too is, it's almost a hearkening back to Carlisle, wanting solid vets, kind of and never really worrying about having much pop on the roster. And now with the roster having turned over a little bit and not having the same caliber of vets, now it's just a roster that's just kind of creaky and nothing easy happens ever. So it's like Luka is brilliant and it works or it doesn't. But they
relied so much on internal development, and when guys stop improving, because Reggie Bullock is 32 and Dorian is 29 or 30, and they put tons of miles on him, and Maxi Kleber's 30, like these things happen, and for casual fans, a guy like Dirk Nowitzki skews what the perception of a good player's reasonable longevity is. Outside of superstars, role players like the average NBA career is not very long. Like it's, and you have some things which skew that, of course, but some of these Mavericks have been on, like Dwight Powell and Dorian are quickly closing in on top 10 all-time Maverick games played for a 40-year-old organization. That should be insane. It's a second-round draft pick and an undrafted guy. Like, they're both fine. That's not what I mean, but it shows how little they've actually done. I mean, I shared that roster from March of 2019. I sent you that game where it was Dirk, Luka, and then four of the guys who are still in the rotation, and then Brunson, who is a Knick, and it's really just upsetting. And we talk about this every night because there's just nothing else to talk about.
I don't know. Tell you, and someone had said earlier about get Jaden Hardy in, and I think there's something to that. I think he's going to be bad if he plays, but at the same time, I mean, if you're talking about wanting internal development, you've maxed out internal development. Like guys get to 28, there's probably not much left there. Like getting Dorian Finney-Smith from where he was when he was signed to where he is now is a tremendous victory.
Yep.
But like a high-end role player is basically, you do anything more than that. Like, Fred VanVleet is a borderline miracle for what an undrafted guy can be. Anything else is you get a rotation player, you've done great. But where is the other top-end talent? And it seems like the Mavs have just actively not pursued it because there's this sort of pernicious thing. It's like, well, we get anyone else that might take the ball out of Luka's hands. It's like, well, good. You kind of want to do that some. Just like
right.
It's going to be there plenty. It's just that last 10% of him having to do everything is what tips it from not just diminishing returns, but like negative returns.
Would you walk through? There were a couple of like specific in-game things that made you crack up. Could you explain to me why the take foul at 16 seconds? You were like rolling your eyes at that.
So, it was funny. I was watching the Pistons broadcast, and they were saying, "Hey, it's 22 seconds left. They've got a foul to give. They can really aggressively go for a steal here." And I think that's true. But so the two reasons to take a foul there is, one is to really aggressively go for a steal. And the second is if we get beat, take the foul.
Yeah.
Or if they haven't done anything and there's like 5 seconds left, so now they have to work against a very short clock. Taking a foul with 16, like what does that do? Now it's
I don't
we
think he
accidentally
knows
run
how to
through
coach.
a screen too hard. We send him to the foul line.
I've sort of just dipped into this. I've dipped my toes into this. I said it on the podcast, which is up now. But like, I don't think Jason Kidd knows what he's supposed to do. I think he has like this list of things that he thinks a head coach does. Like he gets really cute with timeouts at times, but otherwise he seems to basically walk around the sideline with his hands in his pockets. We have reporting that he doesn't run any of the practices. Like he leaves that all up to Greg St. Jean and Dudley, I think. So I'm just to the point now, and again, I don't think you can comment on this, but I'm to the point now where I wonder what function does he have? Because like the Mavs broadcast was like, well, somebody really needs to light a fire under this team. It was super awkward because the Mavs they don't like the Mavs like anywhere. There's no criticism. It's like straight like party line stuff where these guys aren't going to be too critical because that's what a lot of teams do. They want that sort of home approach. But even they were like, we need somebody to do something. And it's like the real answer here is your head coach and or your best player who is not yet of I don't know if he's in that leadership quality quite yet, but it's just gotten uncomfortable.
So I'm going to give a general rather than a specific answer to that for I think what should be obvious reasons.
Yeah.
There's only like the coach lighting a fire. That's a well you can only go to so often. And like if there's something if that isn't sort of intrinsic to like the structure of the team or just kind of the everyday of the team, it's problematic because
there's too many games, 82 games. Like,
yeah,
guys tune you out if you're an asshole. Yeah, that makes sense.
And and that's over not just a single season, but that's over multiple seasons. So that's why there are coaches that have the Scott Skiles, Tom Thibodeau or whatever, just
right.
the super grindy, in your face all the time. Like one of the kind of amazing aspects of Michael Malone's career in Denver is he's a coach who routinely lights his guys up in the media, and it's okay because he's developed enough like trust with the group to be able to do that. And I think that's a very rare case because as soon as you see the coach kind of starting to light the team up in the media repeatedly,
but he does that.
There's a lot of pride.
He does that in really passive aggressive ways. Like he and then, again, I'm not asking you to comment on specifics, but like you've read the stuff. He's already decided that Christian Wood is not the guy for him, for example. And I just don't understand this because it feels like something has to give, but there's nothing to give. Like Cuban's not going to fire him. Cuban's going to keep him as coach for 13 years and then all of a sudden let him pick his next successor. And it'll probably be like JJ Barea or I don't know, Popeye Jones.
Got to keep it in the family.
Like,
there's no evidence of sporting organizations anywhere ever doing wrong by deciding that the next person has to be in the family. As a Manchester United fan, I have no basis for it's not a good way to run a railroad.
Oh well, I didn't want to take up too much of your night. Thanks for hanging out, buddy.
Sure. I'm sure we'll talk later about this. Thanks for having me, Kirk.
Have a good one. Seth's smarter than all of us. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of people who want to talk. Like probably the longest line we've had in here. Let's run through this. Coming up next, let's see if we can get Simon up here. Simon, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing all right. I'm gonna be quick, Kirk, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't able to catch most of the game.
You didn't miss much. You there? We lost your audio.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
All right. I'm not gonna be long-winded, like I was the other night, but just one thing. And this is similar to the Toronto game, like when Luka is bringing the ball up and they're running a high pick and roll from him, and he's getting double teamed at half court every single time in overtime, every time. And the Mavericks have 4-on-3 where 3 defenders have to cover the entire inside of the arc and all potential 3-point shots. And Dallas cannot cash in enough of those opportunities. But also, when does Jason Kidd say, okay, like my best player is taking 2 guys with him at half court. He's getting doubled every time. Maybe it's time to run a different set. Maybe it's time to try to get him the ball in the post. Maybe it's time to do something. To do something other than just not make an adjustment, because he doesn't force the other team. He doesn't force the other team to make an adjustment. There's nothing. It's just the same thing every time. Oh, okay, Luka brings it up. He's trapped. He's trapped at the point where the sideline and half court meet. There's 2 defenders there, and I mean putting Maxey in that spot. And the one time Wood got it, he drove the lane for a dunk. It was just easy. It was just wide open. He took one dribble and he dunked it. I don't get it. Yeah.
Why did they make it so damn hard? I don't have an answer.
That's really all I got, because that's really the only part of the game I caught. But I mean, Jesus.
That was the key part, because that was maddening. Well, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you.
It was man. Thanks.
Yeah, that was that 4-on-3 stretch. Just another bit of mess. All right, Davis. Well, you're going to come up here on stage. Let's hope we can hear you this time. How you doing?
If not, then I'll just get off. But just try again. It's been a while. So
yeah, can't hear. I'm sorry, man. All right. Don't know what it is. Some people's audio just doesn't function very well. Harris, what do you got for us?
Hey, Kirk. Just going to say one thing. Mitchell Robertson, Julius Randle going to get 100 rebounds on Saturday. So,
Wow. Mitchell Robinson, 100 rebounds. Like the take. Thanks, man. Okay, coming up next, then, we're going to go to Chris. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, Kirk, how's it going?
It sucks.
Yeah, this does suck. And, we've been fans of the Mavs forever. I've been a fan since 2000. I've never seen a team play down to their competition like this ever. I mean, even when we were not having Luka and the team who were missing playoffs, I mean, Jesus Christ, at least we beat some of the bad teams occasionally. But this one is like, we won one road game. What the fuck is going on here? Like, 49% from the free throw line. Just, there's so many frustrating aspects of just everything that's going on. I just don't know what to say, but I'm getting to the point now. It's like, I really want to figure out where would we need to place in the standings towards the end of the year overall to keep
you
our
said
draft.
that last time, and I don't know, because it starts to be like, you have to be top 10, like bottom 10 in record, but I don't see that happening. Like,
because we're not good enough to make the playoffs 1 through 6, but I don't think we're bad enough to completely miss the play-in.
Yeah.
So I don't know. If we got the 10th seed and we make the play-in and we still keep our draft pick, that might be the best case scenario for this team, because this roster is not going to improve. I mean, I don't know if they're going to do anything drastic to move the needle, so to speak, but I just don't know, man. And why wasn't Bertans playing tonight? Because I feel like he
played.
He did? Oh, okay.
There was a lineup with him, Tim Hardaway, and Dwight Powell. I lost my mind at, because it's just like, how is that happening?
Okay. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, he has 2 points. Okay. It's crazy how we've lost still with THJ making 6 threes and we still wind up losing. But getting out rebounded by over 20, that's just, there's the game right there and the free throws. So, okay, let's just hope the Knicks don't own us again on Saturday. And they probably will. We're going to get out rebounded again.
In the more like a Luka day game. I don't remember the last time Luka had a really good day game, because I mean, you get used to playing in the evenings. Like these guys go through the pregame routines and stuff, and day games are difficult for them. And day games in big cities, if you're a young man that likes to go out among the people, strike me as extra difficult.
But I think with the Knicks, they are better than when we played them last year, the year before that. So I think with them being a better team, we might actually win the game, and we're going.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I know Brunson wants to get back at us or something.
Sure.
I don't know. Anyway, let's just see how it goes.
That's right. Thanks, bud.
Yeah. No
All right. Robert, how you doing? What's up?
Can you hear me?
I can. Welcome.
Hey, Kirk, thank you so much for bringing me on.
Absolutely. What do you got for us tonight?
Few quick things. I'm going to run through it as quick as possible because I know this is torture for everyone. Two things, really. The first, I want to touch on the kid issues. I think you're onto something with the poor coaching. And the thing that sticks out to me is, one, how they misplay all of the late game situations, even though they're in them constantly. You know, Dorian fouling Durant on the 3 the other day. Tonight, the thing with the foul to give was insane. It's unclear if Jason Kidd kind of grasped the strategy, but you know what? Those things don't even bother me. What bothers me is just kind of the basic fundamental things. People are talking about the rebounding. The rebounding thing was not Stewart and Durant. Durant only finished with like 2 boards. Alec Brooks got 6 rebounds. At one point, Kevin Knox had a tip in from like 10 feet away. And that's why the Mavs, I mean, the Pistons are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league.
Yep.
They're not a good rebounding team. And what's shocking is fundamentals like that and the free throws, where the Mavs need to really maximize the margins to win.
Yeah.
And instead, it's the opposite. It's like they've now lost. They missed 13 free throws against the Suns. They lost by 2. They lost by 2 against the Pelicans. They missed 9 free throws.
Yep.
Tonight they missed 15, and it goes to OT. And they don't play defense. And like Hardaway and Wood are just playing defensively. Dinwiddie's playing awful defensively. And what's shocking about it, also the rebounding thing, is they don't run in transition ever. How do they not group rebound better? Like, it's really, I know that they don't have size, but it's really shocking. I'm sorry.
I got nothing. This is simple stuff that we're doing. Like, it's just such a poor level of execution. You know, we say it's one thing to like say, well, the Mavs beat the Warriors. It was a whole lot of fun. Really was a lot of fun, but it didn't really clear anything up about this team's problems. And they just don't do anything well right now.
No. Well, also, I mean, people like Dan Devine from The Ringer, who's good and stuff, he was tweeting about, well, hey, Hardaway, if he improves and, you know, this is how it works. And I kind of was a little bit too snarky, but I was like, if you need a 41-point triple-double to win at home against one of the worst road teams in the league when they shoot 25% from 3, and you win by 3 when one of their players misses an open 3 at the buzzer, that's not working. Like, that's not good. That's bad. That's very bad. That's not sustainable. You know, like, so, but yeah, the kids, and the reason the kid stuff bothers me, sorry, I'm trying to be quick here, is because the free throws things, this feels like kind of a coaching thing. I know some basic execution things, maybe they're coaching, maybe they're not, but it feels like if he can't get them up to play for games, and he's not good at calling plays or kind of coaching late game strategy, then man, it's really rough. Like, just get them to play hard, get them to rebound. Like that, I don't know. That seems rough to me. And then my other thing really quick is, and I hate to bring this up, but you know, we talk about, you say it all the time, this is how you lose a star player. You know, I again blame Cuban for everything. But it's always been kind of like an existential thing in my brain. Like a few years down the line, this is going to happen, and I felt like it could happen, but it wasn't something where I was like terrified because it felt down the road. Tonight was the first night where it was like, he might ask out before he's out of the arena. Like, it really felt tonight, just seeing him flip out on the court, like he's going to ask out. Like, what if he does at the end of the year? You know what I mean? Like, it really kind of freaked me out. So.
Which, you know, he can't, I mean, he's not going to do. That's not a thing. He has no leverage. Kevin Durant basically proved that sort of thing. I know that drives European fans crazy, but it's a leverage point, so it's not going to happen.
That makes me feel better. That makes me feel better. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. No, I mean it's a leverage thing, guys. Like he's going to be pissed and he might remember this. That's the real thing when it gets closer. It's like unless he's happy with where things are years from now, but it's not like he's going to ask out right now because it does. Mavericks would go, sorry, like we have no reason to do that. We need to make this work. Like that sort of leverage. Kevin Durant basically showed the end of that sort of thing. Anyhow. Jeremy says he's here for 5 years. He's here for 4 years plus a player option. And even if Luka is happy as the Mavericks as he has ever been, it would be in his best interest to opt out the 5th year because he would then start getting paid, I want to say $60 million a year. Like a supermax at that point is projected to be like 5 years, $300 million. So there's like a lot of upside for him to do that, just so everybody's on the same page there. The Mavericks can also pay him $100 million more than the next team, but maybe money won't matter to him. Maybe he'll want that. Like, this is why I have been this way for years, guys, where I'm just like, we're building towards this. And the Mavericks have, he's signed on for 5 more years. So I want to say it's the 26, 27 season, but the 24, 25, I don't know. I'm getting my years mixed up, but he has a couple of seasons where he's going to have to make his imprint on the office. Like he's going to need to demand more from them. So, okay, let's keep going. Grayson, what's up?
Hey, Kirk, sorry. It again started playing my music when you brought me up. Very strange.
No problem.
Anyway, I'll make it quick. I just wanted to say I watch a lot of basketball because my roommate has League Pass. He's a diehard Suns fan. And so we watch a lot of games together. He watched this game with me tonight. And there was a lot of times where he would turn to me and ask me, why is Tim Hardaway in the game right now? Or why is this happening? Why is that happening? And I've been asking these questions all season, but at this point, I just sit and watch the game silently because I just can't believe what I'm witnessing at times. So the fact that someone else is asking these questions makes me think that it's like this team is so obviously broken. And I don't know what the solution is or anything. I'm scared, man, because I don't know where they go from here. They don't really seem to have a lot of assets. They don't know how to manage their assets very well. And I think I'm pissed at Kidd, but it's also like these players, man. Like it's not like we're clamoring for the 20-year-old. Like the dude's literally Jaden Hardy's a year younger than me, and that's the point that we've gotten to. So I'm just like, man, I don't know where we go from here.
We don't. We suffer. We're just gonna slog through it. That's really the answer.
Yep. And yet I continue to I'm checking when the next game is constantly.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it, and it's just like why am I still so excited to watch this team? I don't know, but we're gonna keep going, I guess.
All right, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, that's it, Kirk.
Hey, Sam.
Kirk, what's going on? How you doing?
Ugh.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'll be quick as well because I truly hate this team. Like, really do. I'm a diehard Mavs fan. Even when they were, bad without Luka, you could understand it. So you say, okay, it's cool. You get it. But this team truly makes you hate them. Like, me and my friends, we have this thing we call top 5. So like when 2 teams play each other, you say, okay, who's the top 5 guys you would take on this team? And more often than not, it's Luka's number 1, and then the 4 guys on the other team. Like that's just the way this team is right now, and you never know what you're gonna get from night to night. I saw the next 4 games. They're losing to the Knicks. They're gonna get out rebounded by 100. They're losing to the Suns. They're gonna get destroyed by the Nuggets, and Giannis is gonna kill them. So that's 10 to 15 right there. And like you said, the problem is you don't even know what to do because there's really nothing you can do except fix the margins, make your free throws.
Which I do think they will. Like, there's there's just some of this stuff has to unsuck. Luka's shooting in like nearly 50%, like 55% in the last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, and you see a stat line, he's like 13 of 25, or he's 12 of 24, or hell, even the last. I think this game he was like 7 of 14 from 3. Like he's doing everything he can, and it's just. Even that last play when Maxey missed that layup, that just encapsulates the whole team.
Well, like Maxey being on the floor is something I just have a hard time with when you need points. Like I understand the defense, I do, but he was a disaster. Like, and he's the sort of player where, because he experienced disaster, he's only going to get worse. Like he's the kind of guy that triple thinks his mistakes. He remembers them all. I mean, do we remember March of last year, right? Where he shot 20% from three?
Yep. I just think, in my opinion, I don't know what to do, but they just need to go like a 2019-2020 Rockets version where they just went completely small and just said, F it. We're just going to just run and gun until, we can't do it no more. And hell, even this team doesn't run anyway. So that's why we can't even really do that. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I hate this team. I truly do with the passion, and we'll figure it out. I don't know.
All right. Thanks for hanging out, Sam.
Have a good night.
Yep. Ewan, what's up, man?
Hey, Kirk, what's going on?
Oh,
rough.
Another night of therapy.
not a party tonight. Oh man, it's rough. Yeah, quick two. Game 21 is when Jason Kidd realized that it's best to have Christian Wood as the screener and the roller than Maxey. All right, we've been calling for this since how long? And he finally realized it today. And second is it's the same situation with Maxey again in the last 3 games. And you can see how Luka's fed up. He's like, we probably went over this in practice. We probably looked at film, and you did the same exact thing again. It's like, is he in the same situation, same scenario? And it's like, I know it's hard for Luka not to call for the screener. Like, it's sometimes we look at the game, we're like, yo, why are you calling for the pick? Why are you calling for the screen? Just try to go one-on-one. But at the same time, it's like, our team is so bad. It's like, even if you try to go one-on-one, someone is going to sneak off of Maxey or Dorian or whoever, you know what I'm saying? They're going to sneak off of somebody else because they don't trust any other players that we have on the court of doing something relevant. So even if he doesn't call for the pick, they're still going to double him somehow. And it's like, yeah, he must be feeling it really, really hard, man. Like, I know he's a winner and he was doing his best to win, but it's like the same mistakes over and over. And I know it's burning, it's eating him up, man. Eating him up.
Oh, goodness. Well, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, lastly, Josh Green. He's our most athletic player. The athletic rebound, offense rebound, tap out, the dunk. It's like he's the only guy we have on our team that's like physically gifted athletically. Like, we have no other players on our team that can do stuff like that. And we have to try to figure that out somehow, some way. Because look at the Pistons. I mean, they don't have like great like scorers, but they have big bodies over there that can, kind of manhandle you and do what you got to do. But I don't know how it's gonna work out on Saturday, man. Early game, like you said, Luka probably gonna be still on his third dream waking up. So who knows?
I might also be doing that, but I'll be recapping the game. Well, thanks for hanging out, man.
Yeah, I'll be here on Saturday for the.
All right, talk soon. Yeah, that's right. Me too.
Today's episode is brought to you by Cars.com. With over 2 million vehicles and 50,000 more added every day, Cars.com will match you with the perfect car for you, your budget, your life, your style. And if you're ready to say goodbye to your current car, Cars.com will get you an instant offer to cash it in. Just start by entering your license plate and get matched with a local dealer who will write you the check. So whether you're looking to buy or sell, just go to Cars.com. It's magical.
Okay, we got 6 more people. Let's keep it going with the quickness. Everybody's doing great. Chris, welcome to the show. What's going on? If you're in the chat, pull out to the main screen and hit the mute button along the bottom, and that'll be where we get you.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Kirk.
Why? That's no problem. Welcome.
I just had an interesting stat. Today is the first day I Googled how old is Mike D'Antoni.
Very old. Very old is the answer to that question.
Yeah, probably too old. But man, if we're not gonna get a championship under Kidd, we might as well get some MVPs for Luka under Mike D'Antoni.
Well, I mean, they're trying with the statistical stuff here because Luka once again had a great game, but I just don't, but minus free throws, of course. But I'm really not. Yeah, I wrote that there's no way out, and I don't really see one. I got a lot of people. I've been, I exchange lots of direct messages with people because everybody that answers me, I talk to them. I got one of my guys, my friend Blake, who messages me. He's like, "Oh, this team's going to be active with the trade deadline." And it's like, with what? They don't have positive assets. At least they don't have assets where it's like, you trade Dorian, who honestly has been pretty bad this year, but you trade Dorian for somebody else that like trades one problem for something else. Like they're not improving. They're just going to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic.
Right. Yeah. I don't think this roster is capable of winning. So I feel like the only thing we can root for at this point is crazy Luka stats. And I feel like Mike D'Antoni is the guy that'll I think Luka could average 50 points in a Mike D'Antoni system.
No. Well, thanks for coming up. You got anything else?
No, I think that's it. I love Mavs Moneyball, and thanks for bringing me on.
Well, I really appreciate that. I hope to talk with you again soon. We can, it's sad because it's like, there's just nothing to talk about because it sort of sucks. My man, Sonic, welcome back. Sonic was inadvertently banned from these rooms somehow for a while, so we're glad to have you back in here.
Yeah,
What's going on?
not much. You can hear me, right?
I can. You sound good.
Okay, good. So, yeah, I think I just wasn't getting in the rooms early enough, realizing. But, I want to. I know everybody's pretty down in the dumps. I am too. I don't really. It's not fun watching the team when they're playing like this, but I do think the team's a lot better than we're seeing right now. I mean, they did get to the Western Conference Finals with mostly the same crew. Now, Jalen Brunson is a huge missing piece, and that was definitely the biggest mistake they made, not offering him, not re-signing him. Honestly, even though he did poorly in that Clippers series, they should have re-signed him then just because the point guard is more valuable than any other player in the structure of the system they have.
But I don't think they realized it. That's what makes me so fucking crazy. I don't think they realized it.
Yeah.
I still don't think they understood why they won. Sometimes you just luck into shit. I lucked into being editor-in-chief of MavsMoneyball.com. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm going to keep doing it till it doesn't work. That's okay. That happens sometimes in life. These motherfuckers get a game, they go to the Western Conference Finals, and they're like, you know what? We need to fix our rebounding. That's an outstanding point. You do need to fix your rebounding. Let's go get JaVale McGee. Wait, what the fuck? How is that a solution to your problem?
No. I mean, there's a lot of nuance to a lot of things that have happened. Like the whole thing with Dragic. Like I realize there's usually like one of two things that are going to happen. It's usually failures on the part of decision makers. Is like incompetence is a thing, and that is more likely than like malevolence, or they don't realize they're trying to tank the team. But there's got to be more to that story than what we all know. Just a promise that the Mavs couldn't make to Dragic because of what they were facing at the time.
Washed. Like that, I actually know for a fact. And Goran said they offered him a cheerleading role. He was pissed. Right. They basically offended Luka's mentor. So if Luka runs to Miami one day, I'm going to be thinking at that fucking story, and I'm going to be mad.
But what was his expectation? Like, was he asking for 20 minutes a game?
Look at what they needed, though. They need 10 to 12 mintes a game of a different ball
handler.
That's all.
Sure.
They told him he would play once every 5 games.
And that was absolutely way underselling. They do need more than that. They need, like you said, they need about 10, 12 minutes a game. I just don't know that Dragic.
Until Kemba's
I just don't know that Dragic would have taken that. But anyway, I do think the team is overall a little bit better than what we're seeing. And what we're just seeing is the overall strategy that they're using with the heliocentric offense, with the reliance on 3-and-D shooters. We're just seeing the ass end of that strategy when your shooters can't shoot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's really nothing that you can do to fix that. And the reason that they're in that situation, I think, is 2 reasons. One, you're dealing with all the leftovers from Rick Carlisle, from getting Luka Doncic and not knowing what to do with it, and not necessarily having the assets that you normally would build up, that everybody's talked about. Luka was too good, too fast. And
they didn't know that Luka was this good is the second thing.
Right.
They honestly brought in KP to be a co-pilot, and it's like, this dude.
Right.
It's like, I don't know.
They didn't have a structure. They didn't know. I don't even think when they made that KP deal, it was a knee jerk. We didn't realize how good he was going to be. We've got to get him.
We're gonna microwave the process. This is a completely off key reference, but I was listening to a podcast about USC football today and Caleb Williams and how they basically microwave the process to become unbelievably good. And basketball, every time it's tried, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, it does not work. You need to build talent internally. They said this, and I'm sorry I'm taking away from your time, but during the TNT game the other night, they said the Mavs get 48 points. I'm sorry, 48% of their points come from undrafted or second-round players. That is the most in the NBA by a wide margin. That is not something to be proud of. Go get good players with pedigree.
Well, the problem with that is the structure of the NBA, though. Here's my analogy. The structure of the NBA and how you play this game, how you try to build a winning team, it's like a carnival game. It's stacked against you because of how things are structured.
I do agree with that. But the Mavericks also, and this goes from before Cuban, they traded away draft picks left and right. You go look at the drafts for years. They did not honor it or treat it well. It is hard to go from 2005, I think, to 2018 where you have a meaningful draft pick. 2017, if you Kevin, that's hard. You get so many bites at the apple, and they fucked it up.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I think after 2011, Cuban made some of the most terrible decisions, and Donnie Nelson basically started checking out as he was getting involved with other projects and got, I don't know, bored with his role. I don't know. And I have no idea what the backstory of all that really is. But I do think with Nico and Kidd, what we're dealing with is a hot mess that they were dumped with, and they're honestly, it's two different perspectives. And one thing I do think that we all get frustrated as fans because Kidd doesn't have the same goals as the fans. The Kidd has a longer perspective than the fans do. He's looking at the whole season, probably looking at the next several seasons and how can he get to a championship, right? And the whole reason everybody complains about all these little minute choices. I'm convinced he wants them to win, but he wants them to win in a very particular way because he knows that will be more durable in the future.
But I don't think that way. The way that he won a championship with the Lakers was Anthony Davis getting hot for 40 games and Dwight Howard fouling the absolute shit out of everyone. Those Lakers teams were unwatchable messes and is unreplicatable. You just can't do it. And so they want to build a team of long, big defenders. Only they didn't go if you identify that wing is what you need more of, and rebounding is something you need to build on your strength. They didn't do that anything with that this season. They just did, and that's assets were smaller. I get it. I when you said that they inherited a mess, I actually agree with that. You move on from KP, he looks better. That's something to be happy about, but it's still just a struggle.
Right, and that's also, I don't think we've given Nico enough time because Nico's job is, his goals are different than the fans and the coaches. He's more, the analogy I have for him, he's more like a stockbroker. He has to he has to be able to see what assets he has, and he can't just, he's not a day trader, right? He's not someone, he's really, I guess you could take that approach, but.
Well, I mean, Kidd should be gone now, in my humble opinion. Because I'm tired of that. He doesn't do much active coaching or much of anything, but he's going to be with us for a long time. So I'm trying to figure out how to get used to him.
Yeah, but I mean, I take that opinion as from a fan's perspective and think that we're just too short-sighted. And
but here's why. He was pushed out of Milwaukee because Chris Middleton had enough of his bullshit. He was out of the league entirely for a year. He was brought back in by Jeannie Buss to basically take the Lakers job because they thought that coach was going to fail. That's why he's in the league.
Yeah.
If I blame Jeannie Buss, I blame the Lakers.
Sure. If you want to fire him on his record, I mean, that's fine, but you never should have fired him in the first place if that's your position.
That's correct.
Right?
I agree
okay, so that's fine. If you were, Mark Cuban, that I understand the decision you would have gone with, but having hired him, despite his history, you think there's something there. I just don't think we've actually had enough time with him to know if he can actually make what he's envisioning work. And he's absolutely a player's coach that I think right now, the struggles we're seeing, and the reason he keeps playing Tim Hardaway, the reason he keeps doing the whole not calling timeouts, is because he's trying to get their confidence up. He's dealing with players who are totally reliant on confidence and totally reliant on rhythm. And he just has to play through it, and we hate it because as fans, we want to see wins. We don't want to see them with a losing record. But he's like looking 82 games down the season, and he's hoping that at some point, like these individual player problems are going to be fixed by the repetition, by the process.
Yep.
And I think, we really can't judge it until we get to the end of the season. And his overall approach, I don't think we can really judge until, I would say, year 3. When he's given enough time and maybe an opportunity for suitable pieces to see if he continues to mismanage the assets that he has, while still trying to build what I could see and understand as like a durable process and approach.
See, I just don't know. I just don't know if they're going to get to that because Luka is the part that matters. A coach at a certain point is an interchangeable thing, and I don't know if he's going to have patience for any of this. He's slowly losing patience. You can see it on the court.
I agree with you.
Mad at players. He got mad at Maxey tonight when Maxey boots that pass to Tim. You never see stuff like that from Luka.
Right. So actually, it's funny you said that. Slightly biased. I always watch his streams during the games, and that was his whole take. His whole take was this: there's not going to be a change just because they have a good game or just because someone gets off their shooting streak. The real change is going to happen when Luka goes into the locker room, throws a chair, punches a hole in the wall, and demands a change. Not from the coach, but from the other players.
We're inching towards, but it's not going to be like game 50.
Probably.
Well, thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks.
All right. Let's go through the rest of our folks. Tyron, what's happening tonight?
Hey, Kirk, what's going on?
I'm here.
Judging by the conversation y'all been having, thank God I missed this game tonight. And I look forward to the New York game Saturday. But anyway, I just wanted to bring up a couple of points. I did catch that Golden State game. Have you noticed how many times Dinwiddie looks off literally everybody just to jack up some stupid shot? Okay, so I'm not the only one.
No, he's a look at me. He has a lot of confidence in his own thing.
And that's fine, but I mean, there were so many times when I know a lot of people don't like Josh Green, but he's balling right now. There was times where Golden State literally left Josh Green wide open, and they were kind of cheating up on him to hey, keep on, we're gonna double you. Left Josh Green wide open in the corner, and he would look his way, and he would just jack up a 3 anyway. It was kind of like, bro, what are you doing, man? So I say that to say this. We, judging on recent history, we're probably going to lose Josh Green. We're probably going to lose Christian Wood because why would he stay? And like y'all are saying, now I haven't even gotten to that thought yet of Luka punching a hole in the wall. But you're absolutely right. We're almost there.
He needs to flex He needs to flex his authority.
I'm here for it. I would love to see that. Cut out.
I often don't think players because I think LeBron, one of my hottest basketball takes is I think LeBron James is the worst GM in history. He's the best basketball player of the last 25 years, and he builds these teams that are kind of it took him basically getting through not firing Eric Spoelstra from the Heat to realize that playing 4-out basketball was the best way for him to be dominant.
Yeah,
so it's players are often just not, they don't know what they need. That's what you need GMs for. But he can't be happy about any of this. No. I didn't expect them to make the Western Conference Finals again, but I also didn't expect them to start the season 10-11.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing happened in 2011. You let the entire roster go. The one guy that helped us get all the way to the Western Conference, you let him walk. So, I mean, it's literally the same thing every year. But I just wanted to ask you a question. Hypothetically speaking, and again, I feel like it's not that far off to even ask this. If we lose Christian Wood and Josh Green this summer, obviously we're not getting anything back because, again, we don't have any assets.
Correct. That's why I think if they decide if things aren't working out, he'll be gone at the trade deadline.
Right, and then what? Is my question. Then what?
Then we have I don't know. Then maybe I stop doing these because there's just nothing new to talk about. As we like dip into sadness.
Scary thought, right?
Bobby asked, why do I think that? I think that because they don't want him to walk. And this is different than JB, to where I don't think they understood quite how far gone JB was. I think they misplayed that horribly.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
they do it twice.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't see what you get in return for Wood. I like Wood's play, but he had some real stinkers in it.
Yeah. And I kind of attribute that to the fact that, I mean, this is the Dallas Mavericks basketball is literally YMCA pickup ball. And coming from, I mean, he came from shit teams, let's be honest. But I mean, he's a professional basketball player. This guy, you know, he runs off of sets, he runs off of plays, he runs off of schemes, he runs off of this and that. And then again, like I say, you're playing YMCA street ball. And that's why I feel like a lot of guys come in and struggle with the Mavericks offense versus somebody like Spencer Dinwiddie, like I said earlier, who just wants to come out there and play an and one ball anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's why he thrived in it, because it's like he was thriving in. When he has a good game, you don't really care. But they're just games where it's like, oh, okay, we're just going to run the offense where you dribble and drive. It doesn't matter who the guard is.
Yeah. This is bad. I'm actually at the point now I'm looking forward to the Mavericks failing even more because I'm ready for it to blow up already.
The Christmas Day game of sadness between the Lakers and the Mavericks.
Oh, God. I'm going to make sure I'm good and drunk for that
one. It's also Dirk's statue day, so we'll see. No. I like that. Jeremy in the chat says FTX tanked Dinwiddie's 3-point percentage. That is a deep cut joke, my friend. I like that. All right. Well, thanks for joining again.
Yes, sir.
All right. Armand, it's been a while. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, man. I just want to say, just like the last guy, I am so glad I slept through the second half of this game, because I don't know what I would be going through right now if I watched all of that.
It's painful. Yeah, I wasn't really mad though. Like I used to get either I'm getting lamer, but it's so depressed. Like they were down 10 for most of the second half. That was not fun.
It's ridiculous. And honestly, I think something that us Mavs fans have realized over these past couple of years is that there's a lot of non-Dallas Mavericks fans that want us to do well. And it's also obviously because of a guy like Luka Doncic. And seeing that, especially this was the only game played today, every NBA fan was probably watching tonight's game, and seeing all of that is just embarrassing. But I will say I am one of those people where I think we needed this to happen. Like, we needed this type of embarrassment for...
They've had 3. This is the third one, though.
But
when does anything change?
I think this is the biggest one, though, because this is the Detroit Pistons you're talking about. Without Cade Cunningham. I believe they were without Cade Cunningham tonight, right?
Yeah. But, I mean, I just don't know how it's any different than losing to the Magic or losing to Houston. Like, we lost to Houston. We lost to the Magic without Paolo.
That is true. And then you're literally just getting beat by 19-year-olds like Jaden Ivey and Jalen Jordan.
I love that guy, by the way. He was fun to watch.
He's nice. He is that guy. But now I'm just thinking, is that like, could this one just be the wake-up call that we're all looking for from the whole team? Like, is this where – because we all saw the quotes from Nico this morning, and, you know, every time Nico talks –
by the way.
Yeah, but I mean, some of the stuff whenever Nico talks, like, it does give me a little bit of hope, because he's always showing that, you know, he wants to make change. He wants to always be better, right? But it's just like Nico's not on the same line as Cuban and not on the same line as J Kidd. Like, these three need to be on the same page, and I don't understand why it's not that hard. Because how can you not be on the same page when the goal is just to win? And the goal is to win. The goal is to get Luka help. How can you not be on the same page? That's just ridiculous to me. Also, I have a theory where you can tell a coach is a good coach based on their team's free throw percentage. And it's ridiculous. Like, you're an NBA team missing these many.
You're crushing the team. It's really Luka and Wood. Like, those two need to get it together.
Yeah, and I agree, but it's just like, yeah, Luka's not the best free throw shooter. That I think you could say that's like by now that's the only flaw in his game, because he has really picked it up on the defensive end. And Same with Christian Wood. But it's just like not only them two, like Dinwiddie has some bad misses. Dorian Finney-Smith, he missed that clutch free throw against the Warriors.
God, that
And
was
it's just like
painful.
every single like when you're thinking like you need a guy to knock down 2 free throws in a certain situation. Out of that whole roster, who are you going to pick? I'm looking at that. I can't pick anybody because I can't trust either one of them. And it's ridiculous because you guys are professional NBA players and y'all can't knock down free throws. And it's just like, do you blame the players for that or do you blame the coach?
Right.
Because it's kind of weird that you got every single player struggling from the free throw line. And I think that's ridiculous. Another thing I wanted to say is that this has started to pick up more, but hopefully this being the only game that was played tonight and the fact that it's probably one of our most embarrassing losses, that I want the national media to get on us. I mean, whenever you see them go after the Brooklyn Nets or the Lakers, especially with how things were handled with Frank Vogel and with Steve Nash, like anytime they do disappoint by the national media, they're put in the hot seat. And
Sure.
I think it's time that the national media gives the Dallas Mavericks this treatment.
Well, and it's usually what it's been has been like. So there's, first of all, if you haven't listened to it, Nekias Duncan, Steve Jones had a 15-minute long X's and O's based discussion on what's happening with the Mavericks that is absolutely worth every single person in this chat's time.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to like the more narrative driven podcasts, your Hoop Collectives, even to a degree, Zach Lowe's podcast, there's a lot of talk about how Luka needs to play different. And frankly, it's all like garbage fire bullshit because it's like,
I hate that agenda. That agenda pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah, because it's like this is the way the team is built. Do you want more sets for Dorian Finney-Smith posting up like we saw last year? What are we talking about? That's the sort of stuff that's not interesting to me.
And it's just like they're always saying Luka always needs the ball in his hands. We watch every single game. We've seen Luka be off the ball because either, he's genuinely trying to get his other teammates involved or he's just tired, and rightfully so. And it's just ridiculous. Like, and we watch those plays. It's either Tim Hardaway Jr. trying to be the ball handler that he can't be and randomly chucks up a layup that he misses terribly. And sometimes that happens with Dinwiddie. And then you got Reggie Bullock. He has the ball in his hands and he's like, I don't know, like, what the fuck do I do? Like, bro can't dribble for shit. And it's ridiculous. And so that's why I'm hoping, like, where I want Jason Kidd to just be in the hot seat and know that his like job is at risk. That way, like, it finally puts him at a point where he knows that
he's been getting pressed a little bit more during practice things, but he does like the questions that he's asked. He either looks bewildered, which I don't think he's bewildered, but it's like stuff that he can't necessarily answer without giving away the bag. Where Grant Afseth of DallasBasketball.com has asked him a couple of times, it's like, what are you doing in these 4-on-3 situations? And he's not going to answer it. And instead he like filibusters and beats around the bush. But I just don't know, like part of me is as sick of Kidd as I am, and I really am. I don't necessarily think you can out-rotate this. Like, it's not doing stuff differently. Like playing Josh Green more, I think helps, but I don't think it's a problem solver because Josh Green is not going to up.
Same with Kemba
Walker. 15-point per game score or something.
Same with Kemba. It's a step, but it's not going to do much. It's really not. And that's why, like, and I'm thinking like the whole agenda again towards the Dallas Mavericks is that Luka doesn't have help, which is true, 100%. Luka does not have the help that he should have, but you also got to look at like people don't really realize that like Jason Kidd is such a big problem too. I think that's something that only Mavs fans know as of right now, and I feel like that's why if the national media can work in our favor, and a guy like Stephen A. Smith just randomly goes on to the show tomorrow and is like, I'm looking at you know how he talks and whatever, and he's like, what's going on with Jason Kidd? Like, why can't he get this team wins, right?
Right.
And look at Mark Cuban too. And that's why, like, I know we all got mixed feelings about Stephen A., but he's come in favor. Like, he brought up one time, like, about a couple years ago, that Dallas is such a big market, no state income tax. It's a nice city. Like, I think a lot of us here, we live in the DFW area. We all love living here. And I don't see why an athlete wouldn't want to live here either. And it's just like, why have we never attracted a big free agent?
Oh, I have the answer to that one. Nobody likes our owner.
Exactly. And I think Mark Cuban deserves his ego to be hurt a little bit. Especially, I don't know if that was true or not, but he apparently lost millions of dollars over crypto.
Oh no, there's all this, like, I hate that sort of stuff. There's a lot of people like talking about Cuban's money, and it's not my jam. I don't Like, first of all, none of us are billionaires. So, like, once you become a billionaire, it's actually really difficult to unbecome a billionaire.
Mhm.
So I'm not, those sorts of conversations that happen on Twitter and on Reddit and that sort of thing. It's like, okay, guys, like, let's not do this.
I think
He's
lastly,
not broke, guys. I'm sorry. he might not have cash on hand, but billionaires don't unbecome billionaires. It's not a thing. He's fine.
Mhm.
So,
and I think
all right.
the last thing I just want to say is that we are in a tough situation, and I just don't see us turning this around right now. But the only thing I ask for is that just do something different, man. Like for a start Josh Green. I think he deserves a start 100%. I think we can all agree on that. He's been playing great. He still has flaws in his game, but I would much rather have him on the floor than Tim Hardaway Jr. or Reggie Bullock. I think he's been a better shooter than them, which is crazy because that's all Tim Hardaway Jr. and Reggie Bullock are there to do.
Yeah.
And
right. I mean, that's why they're not coming out though. Is like, somebody said earlier. It's like I think it was Sonic who was saying earlier. It's like he wants to keep these guys' confidence high. He wants to trade Tim Hardaway. Like they want to trade Tim Hardaway because and that's why I was making jokes on my timeline today. It's like everybody could use the Tim Hardaway when he's playing like this.
Yeah,
Ethan in the chat says Kyrie Irving is a free agent. Rent him. Bill Simmons actually said the same thing today.
About the Mavs?
The answers are starting to get dire. So how fun.
But yeah, I mean, I just you can't really if trading is an option, which I don't know how we're gonna do with all these players. You gotta wait till January for that because you just don't know how the market is, and like a lot of players aren't eligible to be traded till January 15th, I think.
Yeah.
And so you gotta wait till then. In the meantime, just change something, just do something different, and go from there. And I think starting Josh Green is a start, and hopefully getting Jaden Hardy involved. But yeah, that's all I got to say. I mean, hopefully next game is not a group therapy.
That's right. Thanks,
All right.
man. Talk soon.
Have a good one.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna. It's some of these games. I was looking at the schedule. Like February, there's some brutal games. I'm gonna be dead. I'm just gonna die. All right, we have 2 more people. We're gonna get through everybody. Max, welcome back. Thanks for waiting. No, it's somebody says you don't want Kyrie. Yeah, I don't want Kyrie. My downloads and clicks would go up with Kyrie, but that's that. Max, are you able to hit the unmute button there? All right, you can come back up and try and hear in a second. Sometimes we'll go to Adam next. Adam, welcome to the show. What's up? Give Adam a second to find that unmute button as well. See how things are going. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this Saturday Knicks game. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Adam?
How you doing?
Good.
Man,
Thanks for joining.
I'm an overreactor fan. Everybody, wants to think that Luka's going to stay here forever. Luka is not fucking Dirk. I love Dirk. I mean, I watched him when I was a teenager. I'm 35, so I got to see him. But, fucking Cuban messed his fucking career. He should have at least had 2 championships or maybe 3. The problem is Mark Cuban is Al Davis. Whenever they brought in Nico, Nico was saying, hey, if you're going to sign somebody for $200 million, is it okay if I make the choice? Mark, you're not a fucking basketball guy. You're great. You give back to the community. You're like Jerry Jones, similar, but you're not, Cowboys worthy. Cowboys get 52 million views. You don't. I just wish, I don't know if it's the in-house scouts, the numbers guys. I mean, I want to give Nico credit, but I mean, he should have fucking signed Jalen from the beginning. If Jalen Brunson's father was, hey, I'll give you the deal. It's ready to go. Here we go. Why didn't he not fucking sign it? Then we could have used that asset to give it to New York and get some good players. But yeah, we're in the fucking predicament, I think, because of Mark Cuban. He's Al Davis.
Well, everybody knows how I feel about him. If everybody hasn't ever read the piece that I wrote on him last summer, kind of in between when they hired Jason Kidd, I wrote less Mark Cuban would be better for the Dallas Mavericks and basically walk through 14 years of incidents. And that was what eventually led him to reaching out to me and wanting to come on the show. And that was when I probably should have been a little more aggressive with him. But again, I don't simply asking hey, can you please let the basketball people be basketball stuff? And one of the things he said back to me was, if you were a billionaire, wouldn't you do what I'm doing? And it's like, well, yeah, but that's the whole point. I shouldn't be a billionaire and I shouldn't be doing this. Like that's expertise should matter to a degree. I mean, luck does play a factor in all this. That's the part where I'm trying to be a little bit forgiving about it, but it feels like the Mavericks don't learn from mistakes, and mainly Mark doesn't learn from mistakes. I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah, I love the Mavs. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere as far as a fan, but the whole 2020 draft, Luka does not need projects.
Nope.
He could have had Maxey, he could have had Achua, he could have had Bay, he could have had freaking Desmond Bain, 23 points last season. Would have been useful. Hardaway would have, could have been, traded by then. But yeah, I'm hoping I'm trying to give Nico the trust. But when you have Al Davis as an owner that doesn't let you do what you need to do, then you're just running a trade. And Luka is like you said, he's Jordan. We need to put Pippen. We need to put other players around them that are actually starters instead of having these undrafted free agents. And they play hard. I mean, I get it, but we need starters.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the only way he's going to stay. I guarantee you, if he's not going to win a championship in this contract right now, he's leaving.
Or if you don't show building towards something, because right now what we're actually seeing, in my opinion, is Luka getting better and everybody else around him getting worse. Only they don't really seem to recognize that.
Correct.
It's one of the things that I focused on this earlier in the show. I don't remember if I said this earlier, if I said this in the podcast that I just recorded. But my thing with Green is actually Josh Green's playing fantastic relative to my expectations. Really, really proud of him. But if everybody else is taking a step back, which kind of seems to be the case, maybe Dinwiddie aside, then it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter because the team's worse, and they've got to figure something out with this. So
yeah,
we'll see.
I hope so, man. I wish we could trade for Bobanovic all these.
How good was that guy?
Magic,
yeah.
Magic has a couple of veterans that are pretty good, that are actually good shooters. I mean, again, also I agree with your view on Kid. I mean, it's like he doesn't have any sets. This ISO Luka pass out is not working. Then we should, by now, you would think, hey, we need to fucking come up with something different.
Just something to mix it up.
I mean, even when he was playing for Rick Carlisle, he actually had to tell Rick, let me run the team.
That's right. That's when he called some plays.
And then that's when things started to open up. I think he should go back and say, okay, I need to start Wood from the get-go. Let's get a good punch and then start filling in these other players that we have until we get some more help.
Yeah, no, I understand that totally.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for hanging out tonight.
Yes, sir.
All right, talk soon. All right, guys, for that kind of loss, getting out of here in 70 minutes seems pretty good. I appreciate all of you. Come by Mavs Moneyball. We'll see what we got. If you haven't been checking your timeline tonight, there's some Chris Paul related comedy going on that I think may, I'm choosing to believe it's why he collapsed against the Mavericks in the playoffs last year. Really grade A comedy. Wow. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. Appreciate your support. If you haven't ever done so, go to Mavs Moneyball and within your podcast feed, leave us a review. That sort of stuff really helps. And we will talk to you guys on Saturday.